The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This one's wife. What is she doing? Harry has left. Part 1. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife is uncharacteristically quiet at the moment. She hasn't been seen in a joint appearance with Harry for weeks. Ordinarily, they're joined at the hip. They move together like salt and pepper, as she once said. Harry has been seen on single ventures, going to New York, to the United Kingdom, to Lesotho, and again has been seen at a charitable event involving the Tillman Foundation. This one's wife has barely been seen. She made an appearance in the desiccated red chili dress at the LA Children's Hospital Gala and attended a charitable event thereafter with young children. But by her own standards, she has been exceptionally quiet. Yes, the PR puff pieces have appeared, and there's plenty of speculation in the media about what's going on. But her silence is unusual for her. And therefore, that naturally leads to speculation about what's going on. What's going on in relation to the relationship between her and Harry, and what's going on with her. The fact that we know that she's a narcissist puts us in a unique position to be able to understand what would a narcissist such as this one's wife be doing in these particular circumstances. Now, there has been plenty of speculation in relation to the state of their marriage. This has gone on from time to time, and we also know that the likelihood of their relationship is that she's going to get rid of Harry, or he will escape, because of the narcissistic dynamic. There has been speculation that the marriage is over, that this supposed professional separation just masks the fact that they have actually separated. But knowing that she is a narcissist, and knowing what that means, what is she actually doing? Let us proceed on the basis that the relationship is in trouble, and that Harry is on the cusp of leaving. What has been going on? Well, I'm in a position to provide you with unique insight into that as a consequence of my understanding of narcissism and the narcissistic dynamic. Accordingly, Harry has had enough of her. We have seen more recently the look on his face when he has been particularly displeased at the way that she has hogged the limelight. The way that, for instance, she has sought to put herself forward and for him to be the spare in his own marriage. He has gone from being the royal spare to being the spare in the relationship. We saw how he looked in Colombia, where he looked less than impressed, for instance, when she was walking in front of him, when she was being flirtatious with the vice president's husband. And it may well be that Harry has simply had enough of the alienation that he's experienced, had enough of the devaluing behaviour that he's been subjected to, and therefore tells her that she's leaving. Given the fact that he doesn't necessarily know what he's dealing with, the fact that he would tell her that he's leaving is a schoolboy error when it comes to dealing with a narcissist. You should apply the principle of go-so. You get out and you stay out. You don't tell the narcissist you're going, you leave, and they find out after you've gone. But were Harry to say to her, "It's not working, I want out," this, of course, is a massive threat to her control. It is massive. It is the worst thing that could happen to a narcissist, whereby she doesn't want the relationship to end, because seen through the prism of her narcissism, she needs to keep him under control, she needs to keep getting fuel from him and use him for the character traits and residual benefits. Now you might think, well, given the fact that he's in devaluation, wouldn't it just be the case that she'd be content for him to walk off? No, because that's his decision and not hers, and thus it threatens her need for control. Even when he's being devalued, he still serves a purpose. And remember, from the narcissistic perspective, he belongs to her, which means she is the one that makes the decisions about what happens to him, not him. Should he tell her that he's leaving? That poses a massive threat to her control in itself, and also a massive problem with regard to the prime aims. It means that he's punching a huge hole in her fuel matrix, because he is the major provider of fuel to her, as his status as the intimate partner primary source. It's a little bit like imagining your house. All of a sudden you realise that 70% of your electricity is being cut off. How are you going to power the fridge? How are you going to heat your house if you rely on electricity to heat it? What about lighting it? You're not going to be able to watch the television now. You're not going to be able to power certain things because of this loss of electricity. It would pose a massive inconvenience for you, and you'd have to look at taking alternative action. You'd want the provision of that electricity to stay at 100%. And it's precisely the situation for this one's wife, that were Harry to suggest that he was leaving, he would be ripping out a major provision of fuel for her, meaning that her narcissism would immediately cause her to try and stop him. This happens through the preventative hoover. This is where the narcissist pulls out all of the tricks of the trade to try and prevent the individual from leaving. For a mid-range narcissist such as this one's wife, this would start with pity play. I can't believe you're doing this to me. After everything we've been through together, how am I going to be able to cope? I love you, Harry. Fall to the floor, sobbing. One tear, left eye, go. She believes that she's distraught because of the loss of Harry, but actually it's the manifestation of the loss of control and the threat to her fuel matrix that's the real problem. The fact that he doesn't choose her any longer is a huge hammer blow to her, because why wouldn't he? She's beautiful, magnetic, amazing. The universe revolves around her, and for someone to decide they don't want that smashes at the very fabric of what she believes that she is. Accordingly, this being so problematic, so seismic in its impact upon her, it means that the narcissism has to gear her up to do everything she can to try and stop Harry leaving. And it will start with the pity plays. It'll start with guilt-tripping him. If those don't work, she'll move through towards the exhibition of fury. She'll lose her temper with him, shouting and screaming. The pots will be whizzing through the air, smashing against the walls. She'll be issuing threats against him. You'll regret this if you walk out of this door, Harry Windsor. You will suffer if you leave me. Who do you think you are? You're nobody without me, which of course it's the other way around. But her narcissism tells her that he needs her more than she needs him, even though actually she does need him, at least in terms of the fuel provision, character traits and residual benefits. She will issue threats about what she might do, what she might reveal, who she will speak to, that she'll tell the world about what a hellish life she's had with him, the horrible husband. She'll threaten him with regard to exposure of certain behaviours. The narcissism knows no bounds in trying to prevent it from happening. She may well turn around and start to insult him, belittle him. Well, go then. Look at who you are. You're a nobody. Is it any wonder that I shagged Nacho, etc., in an attempt to upset him so that it forces him to stay? For a mid-range narcissist such as this one's wife, lots of different preventative hoovers will be doled out, starting with pity play, moving through to trying to perhaps charm him into staying. I'll do whatever you want. I will change. Just say what it is. We'll go to therapy together. Surely you don't want to lose this. And she gives him a little glimpse of the old spicy poontang welly top again. If that doesn't work and he's not interested, that even the fact that she can suck a golf ball through 40 feet of hosepipe isn't going to make him stay. She will look to guilt trip him. She will then become furious with him. She will make false accusations against him. She will issue threats. The whole smorgasbord of manipulations will be utilized. Thus, that may well be what has been going on. And Harry then departs. Now, such a scenario whereby Harry has been trying to extricate himself would actually take a huge amount of energy and focus from her. And that might well just explain why she's been keeping such a low profile, because she has in essence been fighting to stop Harry leaving her. That her narcissism has moved all power, Star Trek style, to keeping him in situ, which means she simply hasn't had the time or the energy to be doing pap walks in car parks, or turning up at events uninvited, or even pumping out as many PR pieces as she once had. That's why there's no content, that ARO continues to stall, because all of the focus has been on trying to prevent Harry from rending that huge hole in her fuel matrix by leaving her. Thus, that is a distinct possibility as to what has been going on behind the scenes. That Harry, having had enough of the way that he's been treated, has sought to leave, but he's looked to tell her, which of course tips her off, and because it's such a massive threat to control, she's been fighting to stop him going, and thus that's what she's been doing, and that's why we haven't been seeing her. Do you think that's what's been going on? Do you think that she's been fighting to keep Harry in the relationship and has ultimately failed, but that is what has been preoccupying her? That she has been ringing him whilst he's been away, hoovering him, trying to get him to come back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And then, in part 2, we'll consider more of what has been going on, seen through the prism of the narcissism. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.